Today's episode of the More You Know podcast features David Burkus, Mike Diamond, Dr. Joel Kahn, and John Malott. I ask each of them what book they give as a gift most often. Enjoy the episode.
Well, besides Friend of a Friend, which has only been out about a year, and so it's the thing I'm still gifting often, there's a book by Roger Martin called The Opposable Mind. And it's a book about how to adopt mental models, in particular when they conflict, right? So Roger is a strategist, and one of the oldest rules in setting corporate strategy is that you can be differentiated and go after a niche, or you can be low cost. But what Roger points out is there's a lot of places that do both. Target, for example, in the retail space, is differentiated, a little hipper, a little more quality, but still very, very low cost. And the combination of those models unlocked an incredible business for Target, and then there's other brands that do that. Most often when the world is telling you that these two things are actually opposable, they're not. You just need to get better at integrative thinking so that you can combine both models in your mind, not go crazy, figure out how to apply the strengths of both, and then move forward. And Roger unpacks that in The Opposable Mind.
The book that I like to give as a gift most often is a book called Think and Grow Rich. For many years, actually, I avoided that book because I thought the title threw me off. I thought it was a book just about money. But fortunately, I read it, and it's an incredible book. It's really one of the first self-help books out there, and it teaches you a positive mindset and a mindset of abundance. So it's not just thinking of growing rich financially, it's thinking of growing rich in multiple areas of your life. It's a great book about positive psychology. It has incredible stories in it. So I like to give it to people, tell them to read it multiple times, and really, really, really listen to what Napoleon Hill has to say. And, he talks about infinite intelligence a lot, and The Secret talks about source energy. So it really has a lot of law of attraction in it. So that's the book I like to give people to start their journey in success and self-help.
Well, I've written 5, soon to be 6 books. And the second book was called Dead Execs Don't Get Bonuses, and now it's come out in a second edition. And the reason I give this as a gift, which is available, of course, on online booksellers, is this is a pathway. Whether you're an executive, whether you're a school teacher, which is an executive of your classroom, whether you're an executive of your kitchen, it doesn't really matter. It's a short but highly powerful read. But how do we prevent sudden heart attacks and sudden deaths? By the appropriate testing that my 30 years of cardiology training has led me to conclude, led me to synthesize, led me to put forward a very simple program. So Dead Execs Don't Get Bonuses is a gift for anybody, and it's inexpensive, and it's very specific, the steps you need to do.
Man, I give a lot of books. I can't say that there's any one particular book. I do recommend a lot of books. Right now, I'm recommending people read the book Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. It's not an easy book to read because it's a great book to read. You get caught up in it. It's a story about basically what would happen if the entrepreneurs started disappearing off the planet. Because we do have this movement in our society that basically is putting down entrepreneurs and putting down wealthy people and making them seem as if they're bad people, not even knowing who they are. Just because you have money doesn't make you a bad person. I always say money only makes you more of what you already are. If you're a jerk to begin with, you get a bunch of money, you're just going to be a bigger jerk. But if you gave Mother Teresa money, you know what she did with it. She gave it to the poor. She created things to help other people. So it really depends on who you are. But Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, it's like a 1,000-page story. It was written in the 1950s, I believe. But it's probably more relevant today than it was even back then. But it's interesting. And of course, I'm a huge fan of the entrepreneur and the entrepreneur spirit, creating something from your mind, building something from scratch, from your bare hands, or going out and doing the thing every single day without a boss, whipping you into shape, telling you got to do this and you got to do that, and threatening you with your job and your paycheck. I love entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship literally saved my life. Had I not went through that drug rehabilitation facility and was introduced to a man who introduced me to entrepreneurship, or at least planted the seeds. I don't know. I lost my sister when she was 21 years old to a heroin overdose. My brother has been an addict for the last 2 decades, and it's sad to see. But for me, entrepreneurship, completely changed my life, saved my life, and I'm just grateful.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
The
More.
You
No.
Podcast.